Folks, you have requested, you have asked, and now you are receiving. I got something very special in the mail today. A GoPro Hero 3. For many months now, we've had repeated comments in the effect of, you need to strap a GoPro to your head when you go into those potential Bigfoot Sasquatch woods. If I were you, I would strap a GoPro to my head when I went in there looking for that mysterious creature that may or may not live in the forest behind your home. Others have said, why don't you go further into the forest? And when you do, go with a GoPro strapped to your head. Then we'll really know what's going on back there. Today, all these requests are being fulfilled. This has a brand new battery. My cell phone's battery is fully charged. I will be turning both cameras off as soon as I finish this little segment of the video. And I am hiking to the very top of the Blue Ridge Mountains behind my home. I will be going further than I've ever gone on foot. And when I reach the summit, I will be appearing before you as you've requested, as you have specifically and numerous times requested, with a GoPro strapped to my head. And we will be certain to capture some of the most amazing Bigfoot Sasquatch footage ever captured. Potentially. Alas, as you see behind me, we have reached the summit. And as promised, I have a GoPro camera strapped to my head. And already you can see from the beautiful panoramic view from the summit of the mountain above my house, we are capturing truly amazing footage. Folks, it's taken hours to hike up here. We're at a very high elevation, and even though it's still August here in Virginia as of the recording of this video, I wore my beanie today because at this high elevation, temperatures are actually quite a bit cool. Plus, it was easier to strap the GoPro to this type of a hat. We are on top of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and if you hear traffic, it's because as I popped out of the woods, I ended up coming upon a little highway, a little Virginia byway called the Blue Ridge Parkway, something like that, Blue Ridge Parkway. And there are tourists from all states and from around the world going by, seeing this beautiful panoramic scenery behind me. But as you know, what we're looking for are any potential Bigfoot Sasquatch that may or may not be up here. There have been a lot of sightings up here on this parkway. And so we're going to spend some time up here today with the GoPro strapped on my head. You guys have been saying for many, many months now, I need to strap a GoPro to my head and come up here and get some of these videos for better footage. And I'm sorry it's taken me this long to believe you, because as we're seeing already, you guys were right. So let's do a little bit more hiking. If I think I hear or see anything, I'm going to turn this camera on and we're going to see what we capture. And by the way, if you're curious, the town you're looking at down there is called Waynesboro, Virginia. Keep your eyes in the tree lines behind me. I have noticed distinct movement there as I'm walking through this meadow. Figure while I'm up here, it's a Skyline Drive. Blue Ridge Parkway Skyline Drive is the name of this little byway up here. As you can see, look at that amazing footage behind me. I'm looking down over the other side, over into Albemarle County. This is Albemarle County, just above, well, actually Nelson County, Virginia here, to the west of Albemarle County. Got a bug in my eye. So anyway, what I've done is I've gotten off of the road because Bigfoot Sasquatch does not travel this area along the road. Watch up here. Bigfoot Sasquatch is known to travel from summit to summit, at times alongside the road, as I am here in this large meadow that has apple trees all over it. It's probably once somebody's orchard. President Hoover had this road built back in the 1920s, and there were a lot of people living up here. Most of them, they bought their land. It was called eminent domain. Those who wouldn't sell out, they forced them off. And you can see still remnants of some of their old fruit orchards. And even back then, legend has it that there were many sightings of Bigfoot Sasquatch, potentially in this area on top of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia. But ever since I've entered this meadow, I have distinctly felt and noticed movement in the tree lines behind me. Being that there are apple trees all over this meadow, Bigfoot Sasquatch could potentially be in here feeding on apples right at this very moment. One thing's for sure, you guys were right about strapping this GoPro to my head and doing this, because as you can see, look at the view behind me. I am capturing some truly amazing footage with this GoPro strapped to my head. I think I'm going to get out of this meadow and venture back down into the woods. So guys, I've been out of the meadow for a while now. There were apple trees and there were peach trees. It was distinctively a fruit orchard. But I've probably gone another mile through the forest since I entered the forest below the meadow. And I have the distinct feeling of being both followed and watched. I don't, people often say Bigfoot Sasquatch has terrible, nasty odor attached to it. Do you ever smell any foul odors? I have in the past, but I don't today. So I don't know. Oh, I got a dizzy spell. Something's going on in this area though, I can feel it. Wow, this is fresh. Guys, I might be being stalked. Oh shit. Look behind me. Watch. Let me flip the camera around. Watch in the center. large and it's black and it's hairy and it's moving. Okay guys, I'm about a quarter of a mile away from where I just shot that last footage, and I'm getting my 6. I'm gonna have to rewind. I'm gonna have to upload this, review it, rewind it, and look over and over. But here's what I think I saw. I feel like something's throwing stuff at me. But listen. Okay, I apologize for letting the letters SH word slip out of my mouth. This is my 810th upload, I believe, and there's only been 3 times in which I've done something like that. And it's when I've been truly and genuinely kind of scared, and that was the 3rd of those times. So I do apologize for that. But here's what I think I saw. Okay, when you heard me say this looks fresh, I thought I saw what appeared to be a big old pile of bear. Oh, I gotta keep moving, it's catching up to me. Peach. Guys, I left the orchard miles ago. I'm gonna walk and talk, and then I'm probably gonna shut the camera off and run. Okay, so I thought I saw a bear. Okay, so I flipped the phone and go back and watch the footage yourself if you haven't already rewound a million times. But it looked like a bear. But then all of a sudden, this bear starts to stand up on its hind legs, and not like lean forward to lean up against the trunk of a tree like a bear might, but it stood and turned like a 180 and then like morphed into what looked like a man leaning against the tree in a position as if he were going to stand there and smoke a cigarette. And when he, she, it, or they, or whatever that thing was, did that, I heard something else hit another leaf. It's probably more peaches. When that happened, I'm in the thicket here, but when that happened, I got the feeling like almost like telepathy. This entity was saying, are you willing to come further? How close do you want to get? And it just waited and waited. And when that happened, I put my red circle up. So go back to the red circle and look if you don't agree that it looks like a man leaning against a tree as if he were going to smoke a cigarette. And yeah, I'm using slightly different red circles today because I packed light. That construction paper is heavy, and I've walked probably 12 miles so far today. I wanted something lighter, so I drew a red circle on white paper. Rewind and listen. That distinctly sounded like a growl or a grunt. So anyway, and yes, we can still hear traffic because I'm making my way down below the Blue Ridge Parkway. That was a motorcycle, but what we heard before that was not. So then in the next scene, which you saw, it appeared as if the creature morphed back into what was either a black bear or a black panther. I kept thinking it looked like a black panther, but guys, we're not supposed to have black panthers in Central Virginia. Though we did get a comment in one of our videos from a lady that lives in Albemarle County, you know, in the Crozet area, who says there are panthers in that area, and we're just above that on a mountain. But how could it look like a bear in the first scene, and then appear to be a man leaning against a tree as if he were going to smoke a cigarette in the next scene, and then a black panther in the 3rd scene? Well, I did not follow. I came this way. I've gone about a quarter of a mile so far. And I'm going to stop recording right now, and I'm going to, as quickly yet as safely as possible, make my way off this mountain. And I will address you again when I get back to my homestead safely this evening. Well, guys, as you can see, I made it back. This was a long, tiring day. I don't even want to think about how far I hiked today. I'm exhausted. I made it back about an hour and a half before dark. As you can see behind me there, the sun's setting. I don't want to say that nothing strange of significance happened on my way back, because something did, but it didn't seem to have anything to do with whatever it was we saw back there. And I'm going to go back and enlarge this on my computer to take a look at that. I just can't understand how anything could look like a bear one instance and then appear to be a man leaning against a tree as if to smoke a cigarette in another instance. And then kind of slithering off like a Black Panther in the next instance. It was like, I don't know how to explain that. You guys were right. I mean, about the GoPro strapped to my head. I would get better footage, strap a GoPro to my head and go further into the forest. You were right. And so on the way back, I'm thinking, gosh, I wonder how many times this creature may have been just within sight of me, but I couldn't see it because I didn't have a GoPro strapped to my head. I remember just before it made itself known to me, or allowed me to see it, rather, I felt that, you know, and people often say this, what is that flash of light? I don't notice. I mean, I feel, there are times in these videos when I kind of feel dizzy or sick all of a sudden, but it passes quickly. But I know this time, since I had a GoPro strapped to my head, I was able to make the connection between when I felt dizzy and slightly sick, and then just instantly, whatever him, her, it, or they was that we clearly picked up here with footage in this video was there. So it makes me wonder, for all these months that I've been doing this and I've had those sickness spells, has the creature been within sight of me at the time? I just simply couldn't see it because I didn't have a GoPro strapped to my head? Now, what I was starting to tell you about a strange episode of significance, it had nothing to do with the creature, because the whole way back down the mountains, it's about 6 miles down the mountain, I didn't sense as if, well, I don't want to say I didn't sense as if I wasn't being followed. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything abnormal. Thought I heard a tree knock. Might want to rewind and listen. But anyway, I came to a stream, and I didn't remember crossing the stream on the way up the mountain, but I came back probably a slightly different way than I went up. So I was thirsty. It was kind of a sizable stream to be out in the middle of the Blue Ridge Mountains, coming down from the Skyline Drive on top of the Blue Ridge Parkway there. So I stopped, I knelt down, I started drinking water, and I was taking drinks, and then it's just like everything turned dark. I don't want to say black, but very dark. And I thought, what is this? Because as you can see, the sun's back there. There's not a cloud in the sky. You look back through the footage, it was a very clear day. I checked the weather before I took this hike because I knew it would be quite a trek. There's no rain in the forecast anytime in the near future. But things get dark. I look up, and there's some sort of weather event that had moved in on me so quickly while I'm at this stream, you know, holding on to my orange cap, trying to make sure I don't get the GoPro that's strapped to my head in the water. And I'm like, how could these clouds, which are like pitch black, have moved in so quickly while I'm here just leaning down to take a drink? It scared me. So I got up and I started running again. And the further I moved away from this water source, the further that weather event, whatever it was, I mean, I was thinking what I was thinking was a tornado. But it just moved away. It's like I was going this way, it was going this way. But it's not that I was getting further away from it, it was seriously moving away as well. So that was odd, especially after seeing this creature that seemed to have morphed into 3 different beings in one setting. So I'm not exactly sure what happened today, but I'm thankful for the advice you've given me about strapping a GoPro to my head and then going out there. I just don't know if that's something I'm ever going to see again. So give me your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think he, she, it, or they were or was. I'm going to go piece this video together and analyze it as best I can and see if I can make heads or tails of this. As always, thanks for being with us here at the PBS S, the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch